The Book of Inner Paths by Péter Popper, translated from the Hungarian by Gábor Szurányi and Joshua A. Williams. Recorded and sound edited by Mindfreak Productions, narrated by Sam Hall. Episode 6. Meditation. Meditation is a type of psychological exercise about which the general public harbours many misunderstandings. I feel that it is enough to correct the two most common of these. It is wrong to think of meditation as being defined by mysticism or a transcendental orientation. It is undeniable, of course, that meditation was developed in the context of Eastern religious philosophies, and it is also true that it later played a significant role in Christian esotericism and functioned as part of the spiritual training in the education of monks. This does not mean more than the fact that a technique was developed in a given culture and ideological language that proved to be highly useful for increasing not only inner strength, but also a capacity for absorption and for helping to develop their ability to experience life internally. Psychological content is defined by a given society and history. The fundamental principles of mental dynamism are, however, unchanged. Irrespective of one's historical era and one's knowledge, it is, therefore, quite rational to advance the notion that after removing meditation's historical ideological shells, we can arrive at its practical essence, and we can put it into the service of a person who lives in modern-day society. Likewise, meditation can be used for irrational purposes. It is a simple tool that can be quite multifunctional. We do not consider it to be an accident how the so-called transcendental meditation, a fashion spreading fast in the Western world, got its name. This shows that in certain cases meditation is not viewed in its general sense, but rather is a technique that has the possibility to be practiced while still embedded in a mystical worldview, among others. This is not a path we are taking here. For us, meditation does not mean distancing ourselves from reality, but rather it offers us the possibility to achieve a deeper knowledge of reality. In another group of misconceptions, meditation is mistaken for concentration. It is looked at as a long-term concentration of thoughts and is used in our common language as a synonym for contemplation. In this usage, meditation on something is possible. We should point out here that the essence of meditation is the temporary evocation of the psychological condition of mental objectlessness. To understand meditation, we need to refer to the developmental path of human thought, that, after the phases of magical and mythological thought, brought us the current universality of rational conceptual thought. This historical path is analogous with, although not identical to, the development of thought during childhood. Moreover, the archaic remnants of this mythological and magical thought are still present in our everyday life, in our dreams, and also in our beliefs and art. While sleeping, when the partial inhibition of the grey matter in our cerebral cortex makes this possible, the activation of the more archaic brain fills our dreams with magical and mythological thought forms. We must pose the following question. Is our current level of rational thought, at this stage of development, capable of comprehending the entire realm of the psyche? Even though our ability to understand the world has developed, it must be admitted that this vision is far from complete. If we were to make an unbiased analysis of our thoughts, we would see that, in what concerns our emotions, instincts, and many times even our ideas and fantasies, our rational thought only attains a level of recognition and perception. We are far from a complete understanding of these phenomena, and even further from a conscious control of them. Furthermore, we have different levels of awareness about different areas of our psyche. We are the most aware in what regards the areas of intellectual operation and conscious action. Processing our emotions and will happens on the level of dream awareness. In most cases, we recognize phenomena and occurrences by perceiving them, but we are only able, to a very small extent, to control them. For example, sympathy and apathy, love, attraction, hate, and disgust. Finally, in what concerns the dynamics of our instincts, we are only informed about them through their consequences. In our urges and desires, direct experience and understanding is also missing. Here, we are using the definition that psychology utilizes as it defines various levels of consciousness with the following concepts: conscious, semi-conscious, unconscious, and collective unconscious. The latter could be adequately described using the metaphor of deep sleep. Driven by the need for understanding, we endeavour to sort our experiences and emotions in a logical and chronological way. However, exploratory psychotherapies have demonstrated that this attitude often hinders real understanding. It is apparent that our experience and emotional life have a subjective emotional arrangement that chronology and logic can often taint or mask. Something that occurred many years ago can hurt just as much as if it had just happened today. A neurotic adult can remain on an infantile level and thus act in an inappropriate manner. We harbour feelings and emotions that contradict logic. The aim of association techniques, as well as dream and behaviour analysis, is to reveal the true emotional arrangement of experiences and therefore to make change possible. Psychoanalysis puts forth the argument that this layered structure of the human psyche might only be a characteristic of contemporary man, whose intellectual development is far from complete. As a result, it could be surmised that more and more areas of the psyche will come under conscious control. The awareness level of consciousness could be defined as that which is possible considering the current phase in its historical development. We have now arrived at the second question. If the human psyche is still in flux or under development, where is this path heading? Is it possible that other developmental phases will follow the phase of rational consciousness? Is Attila Yosef's conjecture valid? I step past the revels of the day to understanding and beyond. If this does not mean returning to the magical, mystical levels of consciousness, what does this beyond mean? It could mean that today we see nothing at all, or we are only starting to see. We could view artistic imagination and visualization or musical inspiration, as well as the often incomprehensible and scientifically inexplicable intuition that appears every now and then, in the still suspicious area of parapsychology. That, for lack of a better name, we call telepathy, as hints of future conscious states. The development of science bears witness to the fact that parapsychological phenomena, which were once considered to be a form of occultism, such as hypnosis and yoga, have now entered the realm of scientific knowledge. Mysticism has become science. It is for this reason that a scientist can never adopt a position that leads him or her to deny the existence of rare phenomena simply because it cannot be explained. The raison d'être of scientific research is to make the incomprehensible comprehensible. The purpose of meditation is to penetrate areas of the psychological realm that cannot be comprehended through today's rational understanding. The essence of meditation, therefore, is the suspension of our mental activity. Becoming a mentally empty bowl allows us to directly experience the unconscious spheres of our inner world by passing the logical and chronological filters. Therefore, meditation is one of the tools that can help us to understand ourselves in a most profound way. To some extent, concentration can be looked at as a preparation for meditation because it narrows the free flow and rapid change of thoughts, emotions, and associations, and therefore allows us to focus on one item. Meditation, then, eliminates this final item as well. It guides us to a psychological state in which we have no feelings, emotions, or thoughts. In this state, we are psychologically empty, waiting to see what content infiltrates this vacuum. Once this has happened, the spontaneous psychological content that arises during meditation needs to be mentally processed, understood, and put into place, possibly with the help of concentration exercises. In this case, the object of concentration is the content that arose during meditation. The whole set of exercises should look like this. First, with the basic exercises, we develop our meditation skills. Then, we meditate and empty our psyche. If we experience something during meditation, we process it with the help of concentration. Without patience, however, meditation cannot be practiced. Meditation is actually a question that we ask ourselves. The content that appears during meditation is a message from ourselves to ourselves. The appearance of the message cannot be forced or rushed. In this sense, meditation simply means the elaboration of a possibility. It is possible that many times nothing will happen. In these cases, we terminate our emptied out state and we carry on with our everyday activities. This does not mean failure. Meditation is also extremely useful in cultivating inner peace. If additional experiences emerge from meditation, they can almost be considered an added benefit. In any case, we should rely on the dynamism of our psyche. Anything that is rising to the surface within us will, sooner or later, appear during meditation. 1. Setting up a suitable psychological state for meditation. A. Surroundings. It is only when we are certain that we will remain alone, having locked out any possible external disturbances, that we can commence with a meditation exercise. A disturbed or interrupted meditation can have adverse effects on our mood, and it can trouble us or leave us feeling uneasy. The surroundings must be quiet for meditation. This could mean a closed room, a quiet clearing under an open sky, or it could be a hidden corner of the garden. It is vital that nobody sees or hears us. To onlookers, the sight of a person meditating can be incomprehensible or even comical. The tranquility of the environment is especially important in the beginning. The neighbour's blaring radio, the sun glaring into our eyes, a ringing phone, or somebody coming could all disturb us. Later, as we gain experience in meditation, we will be less susceptible to these external factors. However, the calmness and relative quietness of our surroundings will still be a vital element for success. B. Physical conditions. Meditation can only be practiced when the body is undisturbed. Issues such as an illness, fever, headache, or flu can all hinder a successful meditation. We should also take care not to be drowsy, hungry, or thirsty. On the other hand, we should avoid being overly sated. On the day of meditation, we should not drink any alcohol or a lot of strong coffee or tea, and we should not use sedatives. We should also see that no other psychological needs should arise. C. Attitude and psychological state. We should view our meditation as a most personal affair. It is one that concerns nobody else but us. Because of this, we should not boast about meditating, and we should not talk about what we have experienced during meditation. This personal matter should not be a topic for discussion, and we should not use it as a way to place ourselves at the centre of a conversation or to make ourselves look more interesting. Only a calm state of mind is suitable for meditation. If we are excited, tired, or anxious, if an argument or an outburst of emotions took place that day, or if we have experienced something that overly frightened or annoyed us, we should postpone meditation. All of this means we should consciously prepare for meditation by avoiding any distractions. Finally, we should not meditate on multiple topics at once, and we should not perform the exercises more than once or twice a week. In fact, we would be better off spacing our meditations out by leaving time between them, maybe completing them only once a month. When we do choose to complete the exercises, though, we should take care to fulfill all the prerequisites. 2. Introductory exercises for meditation. A. Posture. We should practice meditation in a sitting position on a blanket placed on the floor, with our legs crossed comfortably. Our posture and our spine should be straight. We should hold our head in a straight position as well. Only at the end of the introductory exercises can we slouch and lower our heads. We should place our hands on each other on our lap, our palms facing upwards. B. Imaginary massage. Concentrating our bodies, we massage our muscles in our imagination until they are relaxed. We move from the forehead to the temples to the nape and muscles of the neck. We then continue with the shoulders and arms, moving all the way down to the tips of the fingers. Finally, we move on to the chest, back, abdomen, the thighs, the knees, and all of the muscles in our legs and feet. While doing this, we should breathe calmly and steadily through our nose. After the imaginary massage, our body becomes so relaxed that we are able to feel it. C. Relaxing our psyche. Several methods can be employed to help us empty our psyche. One method utilizes sounds. Following the order, we quietly sing the vowels found below, holding them out. It is essential that the sound be continuous, the volume even, and that our voices do not shake. We should not run out of breath quickly, and we should hold each note for as long as possible. While following this procedure, we should concentrate on a certain part of our body. We will have the experience that each note will generate increased resonance in a different part of the body. We should pay attention to this resonance. To facilitate the steadiness of the rhythm, we should accompany this singing and relaxing with hand gestures. Here, we lay our hands on our thighs, and here we touch the tips of our fingers in a way that they form a small circle with the fingers of both our right and left hands. This relaxation exercise goes as follows. To relax the head, touch the pinky finger and thumb and make the following note. E. To relax the larynx, place the ring finger with the thumb and make the following note. To relax the chest, place the middle finger and thumb together and make the following note. To relax the abdomen, place the ring finger and thumb together and make the following note. To relax the groin and body parts under the groin, place both hands together on your lap. We can repeat this exercise a few times slowly and calmly until we are relaxed and have cleared our psyche. We will have the experience that our bodies slouch, our head droops down, and our breathing becomes barely perceivable and shallow. We shall stay like this, quietly keeping our eyes shut. D. The effect of meditation. This inner emptiness, called meditation, has a double psychological effect. Firstly, it is useful for helping us to achieve calmness and inner balance. This is especially important for our mental well-being. Meditation can assist us in suspending the congested flow of stimuli, thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It also lessens their urgency and thus gives us both the opportunity and the time to process experiences. This, in turn, provides a place for the spontaneous regeneration processes of the psyche to unfold. Secondly, during meditation, psychological content might appear. A picture may flash before us, a thought might take shape, or a feeling could emerge. As a result, we can gain information about ourselves, our relationships, and our situation, all of which we should not be aware of without this inner calm. In the absence of inner calm, external stimuli and lack of focus obscure these realizations. Many times, this delicate psychological content, which is often suppressed, can be of great value to us. It is meditation that makes this content available and processable. The consequence of meditation is that it intensifies our self-awareness, heightens our senses, and increases the control we have over our mental processes. Our spontaneous reactions will cause us less surprise. As a result of all this, we will learn how to manage ourselves, and the occurrences in our lives will appear in a different light, or, at least, new aspects will become visible. In a word, we will become increasingly more ourselves, and we might even be able to change ourselves and the way we live our lives. This concludes the Book of Inner Paths. We began by developing our basic mental functions. We engaged in the psychological maintenance of the everyday. We worked towards the conscious control of our feelings, and, finally, we arrived at concentration and meditation. My goal was to provide a practical manual for those who feel compelled to make a conscious effort to improve themselves and wish to look for ways to resolve the conflicts that are present in their lives. This is why, however enticing, I avoided any theoretical elaboration or any analysis of the mechanisms behind the exercises. And I also avoided going into polemics in worldview with those tendencies that seek to use natural methods of psychological self-awareness and self-development for the debasement of the mind. I trust the discretion of the interested and well-intentioned listener. He or she will understand that we are trying to utilize the ancient knowledge and the achievements of modern science to make human life more joyful and worthy. Today's man is lured by many schools of thought, some real and some not. The measure of their value should be derived from critical thinking and from the power of judgment. Every school that endeavours to lure us to areas that are inaccessible and abstruse for intellectual understanding should be regarded with suspicion. The rule of thumb is to refrain from completing any exercise whose potential consequences we do not completely understand. We should always be aware of which area, our spiritual life, we are manipulating, and to what end we are doing so. With this book, I endeavoured to fulfill this requirement by addressing these obscurities and thus raising to a conscious level the work we are carrying out on ourselves. I have no right to tire the reader with repetitions. It must be noted, however, just how easy it is for us to misunderstand each other. It is for this reason that I must reiterate that the exercises in this book are not meant to replace psychotherapy or psychiatric treatment. The pages of this book do not contain home remedies for self-healing because, quite honestly, no such thing exists. What I put down here has the power to prevent our psychological balance from shifting. It also assists us in the struggle that every healthy individual takes up with him or herself and within him or herself. With that in mind, this content could be thought of as a workout partner that we train with as we become more resilient to the unavoidable burdens of life. This partner is also there to help us live with more understanding and acceptance of others, as well as of ourselves. Finally, I must confess that all that is included in this book is a minimal program. It is, in other words, a selection of the practical knowledge about humans that has accumulated over time. It is also, in many ways, an experiment. It is an experiment in talking in a simple, easy to understand and usable way about things that are locked away from an unskilled reader by ideological obfuscation or by the terminology of modern psychology. It is an experiment in calling forth the conviction that a man is responsible for himself. It is also an experiment to discover whether there is even a need for a book like this. I need answers to these questions before I can set about creating a piece that discusses these matters in a deeper and more detailed way. In this context, the word create is only meant in a humble way. It would be better to say collect, clarify, and adapt, for these are the only functions of the writer. What motivated me to create this work was the conviction that one can and should find his or her inner developmental path in the culture in which he or she is living. One should not diverge to anachronistic and regressive paths, or get lost in a murky and obscure worldview that is untouched by the light of critical intelligence. I believe that this short piece will be a guide towards mental health and human attitude along the pathway that Attila Yosef described in his Welcome to Thomas Mann. Do but speak, and we can take heart then. Being men by birthright, we must remain men, and women cherished for that reason, all of us human, though such numbers lessen. End of episode 6.